Welcome, everyone, to Around the ACL. Michelle Thompson here with Trey Ryder and Anthony Ione, coming off of the Bag Brawl that happened over in Minnesota. Trey was there. Anthony and I were at home watching. Very cool stuff to see. Cool to see Tanner Halbert back. We'll talk about that. I was really excited for him. He's someone that we've been talking about for a while. Like, does he have enough time to play? Is he going to get back to it? So big weekend for him. Congrats, Tanner. And lots of great stuff. Ryan Trader had a big weekend. So we're going to get into it. But Trey, how was it being there in Minnesota?
It was great. It was my first time in Minnesota. Love the St. Paul area. Big fan of it. Like, I signed me up to go back. I had a great time.
Yeah.
It was called a lot of great action. It was definitely a change thematically, right? No more Jeremiah Ellis. People are going to forget about him when he doesn't win for 1 month.
Who is that guy?
He gone.
Yeah,
He
gone. So the boogeyman's taking a nap, I guess. So it was great. It was great to be there. I got to see some historic things. I mean, you hit on some big level storylines. Well, I'll dive in more, but for me, it was Cheyenne Bubenheim and Kaylee Hunter stealing the show. Two women making Final Fours of pro events, historic runs, and historic opportunities for both of them to do that. So a lot of great things. Excited to dive into it, but already can't wait for Milwaukee.
Yeah, they're not the only ones. I was looking at the results list. I saw Gina Ramirez and Bella Soprenet up there towards the top as well. So good run there for the ladies, which we'll come back to and buy and sell later. Anthony, did you catch any of that at home?
Okay. So I caught it, but not at home.
Yeah,
I was actually in Phoenix for a basketball tournament. So little man was out there. That was actually pretty cool because we've got whole 9 yards kind of in Phoenix. So after one of the tournaments, me and little guy rolled into H9Y, and we got to watch the doubles final in the H9Y facility. So that was really cool. So yeah, Halbert and Trzynski were in that one. So I was getting a little rowdy there because we got this OG Tanner Halbert. We haven't seen him at this, this deep, fighting for a national win in a long time. So I was really pumped about that one. But yeah, shout out. You mentioned the boogeyman. Shout out to Jeff McGarriger. He dropped that name on the last broadcast. I think that name is absolutely going to be perfect for Jeremiah Ellis moving forward. And then coincidentally, we found out after the fact, if we go out to softball or go back to his days of playing softball, apparently the boogeyman was also one of his names back in those days. So
wow.
I thought that was a crazy coincidence. So yeah, the boogeyman's going to stick, I think.
Whole 9 yards is so cool. Total side story here, but the chicken strips there are the best I've ever had. And I still think about them. And when I thought they were going to close, I was like, wait, I never can eat those ever again. Like, I'm not going to be okay. So just saying, try them out. All right, let's go through the winners. For our national singles, we had Ryan Trader, Trey Birchfield, Alex Rawls, and Cheyenne Bubenheim. And shootout singles, Ryan Trader, Tanner Halbert, Josh Holland, and Devin Harbaugh. So those are our singles winners. Really interesting. I know you're going to get into all of it, but to me, what stuck out was who's not on the list, which I know, Anthony, you usually cover that. But
yeah,
no Mark Richards, no Jeremiah Ellis, no Tony Smith. Really interesting. But Trey, give us your thoughts on singles.
Yeah, on singles. So I just, first of all, I hit it off the top that the women stole a lot of the show for me, and I think I got to start with Cheyenne Bubenheim. I remember watching her back in 2021 when she made that really deep run at the World Championships, and the thing that made her so successful was her ability to absolutely destroy any block.
Yes.
Someone lays a block in front, clean it up. Block in front, clean it up. And when she was able to do that, you take someone, like in that case, it was Ryan Windsor and Eddie Grindersleeve back to back. And even Cody Henderson, I think, was the game right before that on that way to that World Championship final, where those players like to play that game. And she completely neutralized their ability to play defense. And once that happened, it became a game of running bags. And she's just flat out better at running bags than most people in the world. I caught a glimpse of 2021 Cheyenne Bubenheim this weekend. She was absolutely doing the same exact thing. He made back-to-back Ryan Wiedenfeld, Jacob Gore, and then Logan Chamberlain look silly. Not just
it's crazy.
Better than, but absolutely dominated all three of those players, because when they would lay the block, she would clean it up, and she made them play a game of running bags. And if we're running bags, I'm going to take Cheyenne over 95% of the entire pro field. So I was really, really impressed by her. When it comes to TV, she's going to be going up against Ryan Trader, making his television debut for a Final Four. He's been on teams. He was on USA Cornhole, but this is a different element to it. Really interested to see how those two match up. And then, of course, getting a Trey Birchfield versus Alex Rawls matchup. Ex-pro partners having to go against one another as Trey Birchfield is on the rise. Again, we talked about Tanner Halbert being back. Is the robot back after you compare, what he's done in doubles, especially at the open level with Adam Hisner, and now what he's doing in singles. I think that national singles show is going to be a lot of fun, and I am 100% jealous that Anthony is on the call for there. So I might have to, call in a favor and make sure he misses that flight. Yeah, if he misses that flight, I'll have to jump in there. But and then on the shootout singles front, again, you have Tanner Halbert, but you also have Josh Holland. If he's not throwing left-handed and ones just for fun, the guy was the guy was back to what we expected. He was running backs. He was hitting no hesitation airmails, and we had just been waiting for that. I was putting together research packets for this particular broadcast and looking through these different players, and it was jarring to see that Josh Holland, and this isn't a big surprise when you look at before he made the broadcast, but when you look at everything he's done so far, his current pro singles DPR on the entire season is a 0.06.
What?
You talk about him just barely being above 1. His win percentage in singles, in pro singles right now, 38%. It shows you how bad he has been at the beginning of this season and how big of a help of a turnaround this shootout singles performance was from him. So a lot of great storylines. Devin Harbaugh might have been one of the best players on the weekend, I think, across the board, but really only makes it in one event. I think if he gets back to Cheyenne Bubenheim, he may actually beat Cheyenne, because I think that matchup for Cheyenne against Logan versus Devin, I would much rather see, it was a nice little rock, paper, scissors. I think Cheyenne beats Logan, Logan beats Harbaugh, and Harbaugh beats Cheyenne. And it just worked out that particular way, because I was really impressed with how Harbaugh threw all weekend. But overall in singles, Cheyenne is the story for me.
Anthony, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, let's feed off of the Cheyenne thing for a minute, because this is kind of cool to talk about when we get into strategies of the game. And we have this ever running discussion about dirty players versus bag runners. And it's unbelievable that Cheyenne is able to compete at this level without a roll bag and without a cut shot. We saw Adam Hisner have the cut shot, doesn't have the roll. He's been making it deep and being successful, but you nailed it. The reason she's doing so well is every other player is figuring out, how do I get around her over a blocker? And in Cheyenne's case, she's like, I'm just going to erase it. I'm going to erase that block. And it's because she has one of the best lines in the game. I know me as a player, Meesh may be the same. If I have to push through a bag, typically I am off to the left or right, and you're just opening this hole or even setting up bumpers for your opponent to make it easier for them to run bags behind you. But somehow she is just down the middle, and that is where Cheyenne is successful. You list those names that she went through, those are the best dirty players the game has to offer. So for her to say, I can take the best dirty players in the game, and I'm just going to erase your block, and I'm going to win a bracket that way, was really, really cool to see. So I'm excited to see how she does in the finals. But yeah, if we kind of look at some of the others, I mean, no surprise that Ryan Trader is showing up here in the natty and shootout singles, right? We saw what he did leading into the season, and kind of a surprise. I mean, you look at the shuffle of the points in the rankings, Ryan Trader just jumped to number 2. you know? So it was like, whoa, where did that come from? I mean, he was in the top 10 discussion, but to see it go number 1, Jeremiah Ellis, number 2, Ryan Trader, I absolutely love that because of how we came into the season with this Rookie of the Year race. I mean, at one point when we were saying, can anyone catch up to Jeremiah Ellis? Well, here is an opportunity right now where Ryan Trader can make a big move if he takes down national singles and shootout singles. He's just going to be tossing bonus points onto his current score. So definitely possible. I saw your face, Trey. What are your thoughts on that?
He can pass him.
Oh my gosh. See, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so if he gets
So he wins both. He gets 40 total bonus points because he had not made a broadcast yet. If he gets 40 points, he passes Ellis, which would be absolutely insane. If he comes in first and second in one versus other, we're talking about tied.
Oh, wow. Okay, so there you go. There you go. So this, Jeremiah Ellis, who was just so far out there, we didn't think anyone was going to reach him. Here's Trader now. He's in reaching distance. And just looking at his run this season, the kid is well-traveled, right? We're talking about opens, nationals, shootouts. For him, it's consistency. We haven't seen him on a broadcast all year, but he's sitting at number 2. Why is that? And we've been saying this, right, Trey? You just have to stay consistent in your brackets. Don't have a 32nd place. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. If you just continue to show consistency, you're going to end up in the top. And here he is in 19 tournaments. He has finished 5th or higher in his bracket. This one will blow your mind a little bit more. Ryan Trader, 9 times this season, has been in the championship match. That's opens, nationals, and shootouts. And if we just look at the pro onlys, who ended up in the pro singles final was Adam Nisser. It was Ryan Trader that was playing him to get to that TV event. And then you look in doubles, it was Trader and Hicks who played Ellis and Hart who ended up winning to get to that broadcast. So they've always just been that one win outside of the Final Four. So here's Trader sitting at number 2, and he is yet to be on a TV broadcast. Birchfield, all season we've been talking about Jamie Graham with an opportunity to tie Matt Guy. Timeout. We have Birchfield, who's been creeping up. Now he's in a position, if I'm looking at this correctly, to tie Matt Guy. He had the 4 open doubles wins this season that jumped him right into that 19. And then here he is with an opportunity to tie Matt Guy. So there's another storyline that we're going to be chasing. And you talked about the last time Trey was in position to win a singles goes back to 2021. 9 titles ago. So he's at 19. We have to go back to title 10 was the last time he won a singles event. So a guy who's really been showing up into the doubles format. It's so good to see Trey Birchfield, the robot, back into the mix. And if we kind of break it out, and I do want to kind of look at the titles when we talk about titles, right? We do include the open series, the non-pro series. So if we looked at just pro titles, and I think that this really goes to show what it takes to finish on a broadcast. In an open, you're not finishing in front of the lights, on the stand, in the cameras. So you look at a Matt Guy, we're talking about Birchfield that can tie Matt Guy. Matt Guy has 15 pro-only titles. Trey Birchfield has 6. So you can see the gap. Now, Birchfield's got to get 2 wins on a broadcast. Do I think he can do it? Absolutely, right? He's already done it as a world champ, and he was frequently on broadcast years ago, but to see him back on the broadcast now, it's been a minute. So it's going to be good to see him performing. Alex Rawls, just a little bit on Alex Rawls. Again, it goes back to the consistency discussion. We're talking about a guy that was number 2 in the world his rookie year, number 2 in the world last season. And we haven't really seen him yet this year, but he's always been right there in 17 tournament finishes, 4th or better. There's Alex Rawls. So he's always right outside of broadcast, fighting for a loser's final, in a championship match. So he's right there as well. So yeah, that's my thoughts on singles, Meesh. I'm excited to see how this one plays out.
Oh yeah.
One last note, 2021 Final Four of the World Championship. You had Cheyenne Bubenheim on one side. You had Trey Birchfield on the other side, right? So last time those two, were in contention there. And also Cheyenne had to play a Ryan first game, just saying. She's going to play Ryan Trader here. So we're getting
weird similarities. Let's go into doubles. For national doubles, we had Tony Smith and Mark Richards, Justin Burton Jr., Logan Chamberlain, Tanner Halbert, Jacob Trzynski, and Alex Rawls and Derek Holland. For shootout, we had Kaylee Hunter and Pat Sem, Derek Holland and Alex Rawls, Braden Wilson and AJ Sims, and Isidro Herrera and Jalen Jones. The shootout series is kind of a funny one. We tend to get this like, oh, what? Okay. And Isidro Herrera to me is just like, I don't, who is he? Like, he just
I watch
me.
him. When I watch Isidro play, I'm like, how does this guy not win every tournament? Who is beating this guy on a regular basis? Like what I saw in the shootout doubles, like even the finals, the guy's like, he didn't miss at all. I just don't know how he misses ever.
And he just like doesn't say anything. You don't really hear about him. He's not flashy. He just walks up, throws bags, and that's his thing. And you're like, all right, I guess it works for you. But yeah, go ahead and get into it. Doubles, Trey.
Yeah, so there's a couple different things here. One is good to see Smith and Richards again in national doubles. They continue to really just decide today I'm going to show up, tomorrow I might not. I mean, it's a really weird trend that I'm seeing with Smith and Richards, that it's like either first place or borderline dead last. We're talking 0-2. They literally win their bracket, and then the next morning in shootout doubles, they went 0-2. So I just don't know what to think of Smith and Richards right now. I mean, statistically, they're a little weird as well. When I was also pulling like their like season statistics so far, their combined pro doubles PPR is 9.23. Like just a very weird PPR, and it's not like they're overly defensive players. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. I found it interesting, Anthony, that you mentioned Cheyenne Bubenheim and her lack of a cut. I didn't realize until I really almost saw Tanner Halbert throughout an entire tournament. He never throws a cut either. So many times he goes airmail at the second he sees a blocker. It is Matt Guy-esque that we see there. Now, the main difference between Matt Guy and Tanner Halbert is that Tanner Halbert pairs it with a very strong push. He can flip over into that slick side and push just about anything and collect a lot of different bags, something that Matt Guy hasn't had as strong of a suit in. So that was interesting on those two. But for me, Kaylee Hunter, she is looking to become the third woman ever to win a pro doubles event among a gender-neutral field. Cheyenne Bubenheim has done it with Frank Maudlin at the shootout level. Cameron Belvin has done it with Noah Wooten at the shootout level. She can be that third historic figure in the women's game. And I think a lot of us kind of saw this coming. She really has been much more consistent, much more down the middle. It's so funny when I was looking statistically, again, putting these research packets together for broadcast, it's amazing when you look at her career doubles PPR and you look at where she is now. There's almost a half a point difference in PPR where historically where she has been to where she is this season. You can see that progression really clearly for Kaylee Hunter, but you pair it with someone in Pat Sem, someone in the entire Rock Hill region has been screaming about how good he is. And in person, the cornhole world got to see how good Pat Sem was. In the finals, in this game 2 of the finals, I watched in 3 straight rounds, Pat Sem hit a rodeo with his last bag, then go block, airmail, airmail, airmail. Next round, block, airmail, airmail, airmail. The guy hit 7 airmails, including a rodeo in a 3-round stretch. Absolutely disgusting performance by Pat Sem. He was locked in that second game, and I really think Hunter and Sem are a really good pair, specifically because as aggressive as Sem wants to be, Hunter pushes him to be that aggressive, and there's a lot of trust there in that relation, in that partnership. Last note for me, Alex Rawls, he makes it and qualifies in 3 of the 4 events. We haven't seen that since like 2 weeks ago when Jeremiah Ellis did it, but it's still a really impressive thing. And I think, although you touched on him being back-to-back number 2 player in the world, I don't think we still undervalue and underappreciate the greatness that we see from Alex Rawls, because the past 3 seasons, there's just been that person that's just been a little bit better, right? Every single time. But if we really step back and appreciate what Alex Rawls has done the past 3 seasons, I think you have to, if you gave an MVP award for a 3-year stretch, I think you legitimately have to give it to Alex Rawls with how good he has been in both singles and in doubles.
Yeah, fair point. Anthony, doubles, what you think?
Hey, for the record, I need to be taken out of the we undervalue Alex Hicks. A year ago, I said I will no longer undervalue Alex Hicks. So take me out of that discussion.
Wait, you talking about Rawls or Hicks?
Alex Rawls. Sorry.
Yeah,
Wait, what are we talking about?
Alex
Alan?
Rawls. Yeah.
You said you wouldn't undervalue Alan Rawls. You were saying Alex as well?
Agree. Yes. So if you go back to all of our rankings,
both Rawls,
they're just, yeah. Hey, the Smith and Richards comment. Yeah, it's a little bit weird. They took down the national doubles title, came back. They went 2 for 3 in Natty 2, finished, 14th or somewhere mid in their bracket with some of the stack wins. They took an early loss to Turpin and Kingfisher, and then Rawls Kingsbury. So I don't hate who they were losing to. Those are some tough competition. We know how deep the talent is, but I might need your help here on the math again. If I'm looking at this correctly, could they jump all the way to second place, even with that terrible finish? Okay, so yeah. And again, we have to remember with the way that the rankings, and I'm going to kind of talk rankings and doubles just as a theme, but everybody gets to drop that worst performance. So, it's a little bit harder to do the calculus this year because we throw your best shootout in it as well. So it's not as easy as to just quickly go in and do some math. But yeah, a strong finish here could jump them all the way back to the number 2, knowing they can drop that crappy Natty 2 finish. What do you got, Trey?
Right, because if you look, they when it comes to shootout, they already made that broadcast, right? Quinn Reeves and Tony Forbes, they win that shootout doubles, but Smith and Richards made the broadcast there. So they have a 400-point lock for that shootout number. So it does not matter that they went 0-2 this past weekend. And I think that might have contributed to the fact of why they didn't play that well, right? So when you start adding together all the different points that they can get, Smith and Richards are in a really good position to make, if they can win on this broadcast court or have a strong finish and the Natty number 4 come out and have in that national doubles a strong performance, there's no doubt that they could be the number 1 team in the world easily after how the rankings all shake out.
Yeah, so just looking at them all in rankings, we said Smith and Richards at 6th, Burton Chamberlain and Chamberlain also sitting at 6, so they have the same opportunity to jump to a second place spot. Halbert and Trzynski just outside of top 10. A win could move them into the top 10. And then Holland and Rawls, surprise, sitting at 3rd. So again, if you do the math, they could be the number 1 team after this one, right, Trey? Because I think they're 34 points. So a lot could happen in this one. We could see a shuffle in the top 3, top 5, depending on how this one plays out. But yeah, Halbert and Trzynski, again, I was watching that match at H9Y. Just a guy that's been around since the pro division started, when ESPN was just starting to crank up. It was really, really cool for me to just see Halbert make the run that he did in both singles and doubles. I'm a big fan on the boards and off the boards. You mentioned his airmail. That thing has got to be on. His airmail has got to be on for them to win. And what's crazy is Tanner Albert actually has a really good roll bag. And I'm sitting there in H9Y. There was particular setups where I'm going, don't shoot it. And in my mind, I'm like, just roll it, because you're off the bat giving up. Maybe you hit the roll for 3. You stack and prevent a push. You stay on for 1. There's so many good things that could happen with a roll. I don't know why Tanner Halbert doesn't use the roll bag as much. I'm certainly going to be addressing that before we go on to the broadcast so we can talk about it through the mic. But his airmail has got to be on for them to win, and it was through these tournaments. I mean, he was banging airmails like a boss. It was pretty impressive stuff. Yeah, if we kind of look into the shootout stuff, you mentioned Hunter and Pat Sims. We saw Pat Sims stand out as a rookie in the showcase. His airmail is definitely some of the best, not just in the rookie class, but in the league. That's that guy's go-to. That is his jam. He killed the event where you work around a blocker with the slick side of his bag. So he's going to be able to get around blocker's slick side, and he's going to airmail the crap out of it. He's going to be a solid matchup for Hunter. They're going to be tough. They're going to be tough to beat. We see Holland showing up again, we see Rawls showing up again here in the shootout format. I think that just goes to show Rawls is good across all formats. And that's been his MO for years. You could throw him in a singles. I'm not a singles player. I'm also a doubles player. Oh, you want a shootout format? I got that too. And it goes to show IQ-wise, even though he's only in his 3rd season, this guy's IQ is super, super high. And we know he has every single shot, including better there than in. He doesn't give a crap about his PPR. He's going to stick a bag here and take a 6 on a 4 and take 2 points all day. He does not care about PPR. And I think that's a big reason why he continues to win. Along with Tanner Halbert, super excited to see AJ Sims make another broadcast. Come on. I mean, again, we go back to the days of Josh Gross, AJ Sims. We got to see those guys consistently deep in brackets, consistently on the broadcast. Love AJ Sims. I love his style. And now it's a little bit tougher to win with that style. Again, even though he throws a carpet bag, he throws it hard. It's not a roll style game. It's really running bags with a carpet bag. He has a tough airmail. And he has that Shibner kind of dedicated tilt, which prevents some pushes. Definitely going to struggle on reverse cuts. But his airmail is amazing, and he runs at 11.5 plus rates. So good to see AJ Sims on the broadcast as well, guys.
We had some other events and winners. For senior singles, Terry Mathis takes it down. Women's singles, Deborah Odom. For women's doubles, the final 2 is going to be Dual Coy versus Cassidy Tennyson. Our pro blind draw was Birchfield Power. Junior singles, Owen Engen. Elite singles, Matt Wilson. And elite doubles, Waskow and Reeves. Trey, you can pull from any of those that you'd like.
Yes, I'll start on women's doubles. Guys, Miranda Coy is really good. Yes. She's playing at a really high level right now. And, Sarah Cassidy had a really deep run as well, especially in singles. She improves her ranking all the way to a top 100. We have 3 women in the top 100 of pro singles standings. That's Cheyenne Bubenheim, Miranda Coy, and Sarah Cassidy. So all 3 of them are definitely performing at a high level. But in particular, I look at what Miranda Coy is doing, and she's continuing to make deep runs. When she was in that tournament, I was watching her. She's the best player in that tournament. She was in that women's doubles. Now, granted, Cheyenne wasn't playing in that tournament because she's already qualified. But the point I try to make is I look to see if she can continue that run alongside Lori Duell. They'll play on the broadcast in Milwaukee in that women's doubles final. Only other things I'll talk on the 2 elite qualifiers. Matt Wilson. I was sitting there at the airport trying to get on my flight back to Charlotte, and around me I had the Gores, I had Angel Camarena, I had Donovan Sinelli, and I had Caleb Medenka, and we were talking, and Jacob Gore looked at me and he said, flat out, Matt Wilson is top 3 elite player, no doubt. And I think he continues to showcase that, even when you have people like Austin Waskow, Quinn Reeves, Tony Forbes, even Spencer Fabianar. Matt Wilson is continuing to showcase that he is being he should be up there with the elites of the elite. So I really think Matt Wilson is right on the fringe. He made another deep run with Mason Trader. That's becoming a team that's being fun to watch inside of brackets, and obviously winning elite singles and qualifying again. We're going to continue to see him at these big pro events as well. Austin Waskow was really impressive. Collegiate national champion. We saw him again with Quinn Reeves. Quinn Reeves showcasing that he can win with just about anybody. He can win with, he can win with Austin Waskow. He can win with Tony Forbes. He can win with Candler Bag. Like, you name the elite player, Quinn Reeves can win. He gets some good
partners though, Trey. It's not like he's just taking anyone.
No, but I mean, I think that's part of it, though. I mean, look, you can play with the best player in the world. Doesn't mean you're always going to win. I mean, the runs that he's making here, he's not. He's playing to the level of his competition. And I think it's really impressive what we're seeing out of him. Austin Waskow as an individual, though, really sent some people home that didn't want to go home this past weekend as well. He was absolutely on fire.
Yeah, agreed. Anthony, any other winners you want to talk about from the weekend?
I mean, he can't just win with anyone, Meesh. I mean, he carried Tony Forbes to a championship. Let's be serious. No, I'm just kidding. Tony Forbes is awesome. Yeah. Quinn Reeves, Austin Waskow, real deal. I got to watch them pretty closely. Specifically Waskow. Obviously, I called Reeves' match. Super impressed on what I saw there. And he does it in a non-flashy way. Yeah, it's like you just kind of, to me, I didn't see it coming. It was like, oh, I didn't see that coming. I didn't know that he had that shot kind of thing. Austin Wasco, I got to watch him in the main field, out into the main field of boards on a couple doubles matches. That kid is legit as well. I don't think we're just saying, oh, he's just a college, champ, or these guys do well in elite. These guys, you drop them into the pro division. I think they're both top 50 for sure. And then talking about top 50, just a shout out to Miranda Coy that you mentioned earlier, Troy, not just a top 100. She's number 47 right now. She's a top 50 singles player. That is really significant when it comes to the ladies. If we look at history, there's only been a couple ladies that have been able to finish top 50. Obviously, Cheyenne's always there. Cassidy's come close. I think that maybe once she finished top 50, but here's Miranda Coy in the mix there. The women's singles side, we should talk about that one just a little bit. We had Deborah Odom and Rosie Streaker in the final. I just kind of looked at some overall stats on this one that kind of blew my mind a little bit. Deborah, and I don't think I've ever seen this one on Rosie Streaker. She threw 181 rounds in a tournament. Have you ever seen someone pushing close to 200 rounds? I think that might be the most I've seen. But it was Deborah Odom, a 10.22 over the tournament, Trey, and that's over 125 rounds. We know that in the women's division, you're going to be running bags. We're going to have higher PPRs, but a 10.22 over 125 rounds. I don't care if you're throwing a deck around, a 10.222 over 125 rounds is tough to maintain. So a shout out to her. And technique wise, and the way I would describe Deborah Odom's bag. Okay, so she has a pinky low release. And for anyone that might not kind of be able to visualize what that means, if you ever taken a basketball and you kind of throw it away from yourself and you backspin it, and when the ball hits, it comes back to you. That's exactly what her bag is doing. So when it hits the board, it's actually working against the forward momentum. So it's going to limit her on a bunch of shots, but she's so down the middle. She's got that, she's got that when she was, what was the sport she used to play back in the day? Horseshoes. Thank you. Yeah. She has that horseshoe history of, 20 something years. And it's literally like, it almost looks the same to me. But yeah, what a successful run for her, and to go through Rosie Streaker, who's super hot right now. Shout out to Odom.
Yeah, she said that. She said that her pitch is very much the same. Because we've talked about how she throws a carpet bag and kind of out of character for typically age and bags. They have a correlation, but she said it works for her from her horseshoe days. So,
but it comes out screaming. I tell you that right now. She throws a low and hard bag. I mean, slick boards are not good for Deb Odom, and luckily they were, they played they were slow all weekend. I wouldn't say that they were Palm Beach slow. Well, the funniest part of the entire weekend, though, kind of going back to Alex Rawls a little bit, after the first day, he comes up to me, and I can tell he wants to complain about something, but he's just not, because he's just trying to be a nice guy. I'm like, what's wrong, Alex? He's like, it's just too slow in here. I can't do anything. Like, I need faster bags. I'm just useless, blah, blah, blah. He goes out the next 3 days and wins every single bracket that he plays in the rest of the weekend. So I didn't get a chance to go back up to him, but I really wanted to go up to him and say, yeah, you really struggled this weekend.
You really struggled with that one. That is
so maybe
awesome.
You don't know what you need, Alex, because clearly it worked. We're going to go through our top 10 shots from Cornhole Mania. So we didn't get to go through them last week. We had brackets to go through. So the second Cornhole Mania event back in Vegas, we're going to bring those up and talk about our
reliving Vegas. I think I'm tired already.
Yeah, I know. It feels like forever ago, right? But yeah, all right, here we go. We're going to start with number 10. This is going to be Cole. By the way, all of these are like airmail drags. So many airmail drags. This is Cole Brewer. He's going to grab just his bag. Yeah, he said, forget that other bag. We don't need it.
Yeah, Cole's he's just one of those other players. Talk about elite players. Like, we're starting to think about rankings in our head. Easily top 10 right now, right? Is he all the way up into that top 5 range is I think the bigger conversation.
So out of these top 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are airmail drags.
Love it.
So I don't know if that's a testament to what happened in Vegas or just the mindset Corey was in when he picked these, but
this is from Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got Jake Trzynski now. This is like a roll cover. I mean, that just doesn't get any more perfect than that. Like, what do you do?
What is that? What is that? Putting the lid on the jar or something? Is that we got to come up with a terminology there. Just put the lid on it.
Put a
I've
lid
been
on
calling
it.
it a cover, yeah.
That makes, I think we normally say cover, but I like put a lid on it. I think that has a nice ring.
Put a lid on it.
Just roll it out.
We're using it.
We're using it. It's official. All right, number 8 is going to be Kyle Malone, yet another airmail drag. It's a little dark
known
here.
For that.
Just so.
Oh,
there's
I actually like that bag staying there. I actually like leaving the one. Yeah.
There's 4 bags all around the hole, and he's like, "No, I'm only gonna take mine." It's crazy. Like, what?
And the ones that are most likely to, like, that front bag should want to go. That back bag should want to go. It's the side one. Like, sometimes those are my favorite reactions when you throw it and like the bag off to the left-hand side gets like flipped over and goes in, but the one you were trying to drag still sits there, and people's reaction is just pure confusion.
Oh, I had shots like that on Wednesday where it was like I was playing pinball, and I'm like, I think like the cornhole gods are just here for me today. I don't know. No other explanation for it. All right, 7 is going to be Logan Chamberlain's bar of soap. So you'll see him.
He's getting really good at these. He's getting really good at these.
Full step out and kind of like a diagonal.
Oh, yeah.
Was it even teed up, or was it just flat on the board? It was a little, I couldn't tell from the resolution.
Let's see.
Yeah, it was pretty flat.
There we go. Okay, here.
Yeah,
we're running
it's pretty
it back.
flat.
Running it back.
Oh, it's like on the side. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, it had a little bit of a corner on there. But he is getting. There's some players that like live and die by this bar of soap now. Like there's an opportunity. They're gonna go. I mean, Chamberlain's one of them. I see Wiedenfeld tried a good bit too. Like it's becoming second nature.
Oh, Wiedenfeld is nasty at it, and I think it's because people are stepping up their lines on hard pushes. They're getting. It's almost like if we put a little strike zone, a little hole at the back of the board, players are able to hit that strike zone more and more. Yeah, the
number 1 is a bar of soap in today's top 10, so you have to wait for it. Number 6 is Jamie Graham with an airmail drag. It's going to be once again just his. That doesn't want anything to do with that one.
That's what doesn't make any sense. Like there's no reason that bag on the right hand side should go before that one on the left hand side. Just magical.
Magical. All right, Candler Bag, an airmail drag.
By the way, just for a quick second, can we all agree that Candler Bag is like the greatest name ever for a cornhole player?
He has to be the number 1 player. Like that's too perfect. They're gonna think we made it up, like Alicia Keys, like we made up the name.
Usain Bolt, Candler Bag. Like, you can't
Heck yeah.
But that was a 2-bag drag and leave their bag on the side there. So very impressive shot there from Candler. Number 4, we're going to see a little twofer. So we've got Emax first, just a clean airmail.
Oh, that
and
kid
then
is
Tony
nice,
Forbes,
by the way.
and then wait for Tony's reaction.
Oh, did I just really do that?
Like, that's the reaction somebody would have for your shot, but he had it for himself. Like, what did I just do? that was
way better be lucky than good.
Yeah, that was disgusting. Right. All right, Caleb Batson and an airmail drag is going to come in at number 3.
By the way, I know this is not the right time to bring it up as we see this actually that was disgusting. That was absolutely disgusting.
I know. I didn't even know if I should call that an airmail drag because it was like better than I don't. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. There's 1 in the front and 2 over the hole.
Drag peel combo.
Caleb Batson ranked 118th. Anthony, come on, we gotta. I mean, I know you're upset, but we gotta have a conversation.
It's weird. He can do stuff like that. It doesn't make sense. I don't know what's going on. All right, number 2, we got Emax again with an airmail drag.
I feel like there's a lot of Cali in this. I feel like there's a little favoritism here, Meesh.
Hey, it wasn't me. It's Corey.
Who made these? Did a Cali player or a Cali person make this?
Someone from the state of California made this video.
Allegedly, may or may not have. All right, let's get to our number 1. It is going to be Devin Harbaugh, and it is well deserved. He says, like you think that's the perfect bag.
That's a tough one to not try
that is stupid. That is absolutely stupid.
Because you put that block and you think I put it right in the perfect spot in between. Like maybe he does a rollover or something, but he's like, nah.
Yeah,
We
and to
got it.
pull
It's like
that
that
off,
crew cup. I don't know if you remember back from like the shot of the year back in 2021, I think, was that combo
Yep.
shot of Devin Harbaugh. He hits the
Yes.
bar of soap, it sits on the back end, and then he comes back the next time and hits the and one
And
just to
one.
knock it off. It's just he's got such good control. Like he's again kind of like one of those other guys. Sometimes I watch Devin Harbaugh play and I'm like, who beats Devin Harbaugh? Like, how does this guy lose games, right?
Exactly.
There's three things that have to happen all at the same time. One, you need the speed, right? You got to come in hot. Two, your line has to be perfect. If you're left or right, you're not going to get it. The third one is the hardest. You have to actually land. Your positioning has to be right behind the bag. If you land a foot from it, by the time the bag gets to the bar of soap, it's already settled, and now it's a push. So you have to get right underneath it to scoop it. Three things have to happen. That's tough.
It's fun to watch, though. I'm here for it. Time for buy or sell. First one is Gavin Cano has a mental block to work through.
I think I'm going to sell this. Look, I kind of briefly talked about last time, and I'll continue to talk about it. We have never seen someone in the history of the sport be able to be dominant for 3 straight months and be by far and away the number one player or at the best in the world. Right now, we could argue that Gavin Cano was right there to Jeremiah Ellis. If Jeremiah Ellis didn't exist, we'd be talking about Gavin Cano being the most dominant player in the world for 2 straight months. Literally, I don't know if it's cornhole gods. I don't know if it's physics. I don't know if it's just a rule, right? He got to run out of steam eventually. He'll be there right at the end in other tournaments, but he just had an off event. I can't look into anything that we're seeing from Cano to be able to say that.
Anthony?
Yeah, I'd agree. Actually, I would say his mental game is better this season. I just think it's just how it's playing out. It could be something as simple as, the boards get a little faster on the broadcast and he doesn't roll as much. And we're seeing him airmail a lot more than I normally see him do it could be something like that, but I don't think it's mental.
Tanner Halbert is back.
Man, I hate going off of one event, but I really liked what I saw. Like, what I saw was something that we hadn't seen in years, right? I mean, he was that good as he was previously. I'll buy it. It is a little bit premature, I would admit. Like, I'd like to probably see how he does on the broadcast, but I don't want to. Like, I like what I'm seeing from Halbert. And it's like riding a bike in a way. Once you get back to it, hopefully it stays there. I'll buy it.
Anthony?
Tanner Halbert's my dude, but I got to sell. That one. Love you, buddy. Yeah. Hey, he's throwing good bags right now. Would love to see it continue, but I'm going to sell.
A win by a female for the national or shootout series would break that glass ceiling for women pros.
Yeah, I think I'm going to sell it because I think we're there already. In the national doubles tournament. So no, we're not even counting the one that Kaylee Hunter won. We're talking about a tournament. You had three women sitting in king seat matches. Gina Ramirez did it. Bella Soprano did it. Cheyenne Bubenheim did it. We're talking about a group of ladies right now that are playing against some of the best in the world. And now we're seeing it on a repetitive, constant basis. I think we're starting to see this breakout that we expected to see for a number of years. And it's starting to happen right now. Obviously, the win would be historic, especially on the singles side. I think maybe if Cheyenne wins it, it does have a little bit more of that historic flair to it, but I think we've in a way broken that ceiling already. I'm going to kind of sell it for that reason.
Anthony?
I'm not making any friends today. Tanner Halbert's going to hate me. I love the ladies out there. I'm going to sell that one as well. I think it breaks the seal for Cheyenne. I think that maybe now getting that win, if she can pull a win out, we're going to see her showing up more. But it just comes down to the actual game style we see out of the female division. Until we start seeing the ladies who can shape shots, deal with blockers, and don't have that amazing cleanup where you're pushing through blockers, I don't think we're going to see much change. We've got to see the style of play change in the female division.
Oh, I really did set you up for this episode, huh? To be hated. Matt Guy will win a national or shootout title this season.
Yeah, I'm going to sell this one. I think he's right there. I really do think he's there at the end. I said at the beginning of the season he wouldn't, because last year I said he would and he didn't, and now I'm mad at him. So I'm gonna say no, because I'm mad at. I will say, guys, this past weekend, I don't know if you saw, Matt Guy threw 2 straight perfect games
It's
in
insane.
doubles, and he lost one of them.
Wow.
They lost.
So
Matt
it wasn't
Brett
his
Guy.
fault?
It wasn't his fault.
Matt Guy threw a perfect game and lost 21-8.
Wow.
If that gives you any indication. So he is there. Now, Brett played much better the next day, but I just think Matt Guy is kind of in this little bit of a rut right now and not getting a lot of good luck. And I think people are playing their best against him still. I think it's going to take another year before he starts breaking through here and he wins a couple maybe next year.
Anthony?
Yeah, I've been saying he's not going to win it for years just because of the style he's playing. Now, Wally did promise us at the beginning of the season. Our guy, Wally, said, Matt Guy has changed his game. I'm still looking for it. It drives me. It's one of the most frustrating style of games to watch when you know this is the by the book shot. Nope. You never get the by the book shot from Matt Guy. He's going to do his thing. And it really does show up well on a stat sheet, but just those critical wins just aren't there. Is he going to win multiple brackets? I think he will.
Yeah.
Does it get him all the way to a championship win? I don't see, but it is close. I'm not going to say it's like, no, he's not going to make it. It's like, because he is that good at his style of game.
Tony Smith will finish outside the top 10 for singles.
Ooh.
Yeah, buy it. I don't like what I'm seeing out of Tony Smith right now. I mean, when he plays doubles, they're a great unit and they're a great team, but this is not the same Tony Smith that played last year. For me, this is actually pretty easy right now until I see something that changes my mind and I see a dramatically different Tony Smith. I'm absolutely going to roll with a buy here.
Anthony?
I actually didn't even get to read this one beforehand. So this one has me thinking now. That's pretty tough. I actually think this will be the first time I have ever gone this way, but I think I agree with Trey on this one. I'm going to buy that one.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy to say.
I agree. That's why I put it in there, because I was like, I just don't know if it's going to happen this season, which is crazy. MVP last year, but hey.
Yeah, I mean, what I've been relying on, what I've been preaching, since the beginning of the season is Tony Smith doesn't really care about opens.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to go out there. He's just having fun. He's just doing whatever. But I kept saying, when we get to the pro season, this dude locks in. It feels real. There's titles on the line. That's when he really kicks it up. And he's not terrible. He's sitting at 13 or something. Yeah, 13 or something like that. But it's not the Tony Smith we expected to see, which to me was going to be a top 3 guy.
Yeah, agreed. All right, hot take time. You got one, Trey?
I do. For national singles in Milwaukee, we are going to see a rematch of the 2021 ACL World Championship singles final. Trey Birchfield versus Cheyenne Bubenheim, and Cheyenne Bubenheim gets her revenge.
Oh, he's going to take it that further.
Ever,
he took mine. Okay.
Becomes the first ever woman to win a pro singles tournament.
Trey
stole mine. All right, Anthony, go.
Please play out that way. That would be amazing. I would absolutely love that storyline. All right, I'm going to go with Alex Rawls. I think Alex Rawls takes home 2 championship plaques. He's pulling 2 out of Milwaukee.
Oh, I like that. Okay, I'll go national doubles, and I'll go Halbert Trzynski. I think they would be. I think that would be really fun to see, and yeah, that's what I'll pull for national doubles.
I love that.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you all next time.